Hello and good evening to everyone out there in YouTube land. I'm glad you're here. This is my weekly Monday night at 7 p.m. live stream that I do. We try to focus as much as we can on cars, projects, questions, answers, ideas, anything it has to do with cars, basically. Sometimes we get a little off tangent. Sometimes we talk about movies. Sometimes we talk about Matchbox cars, Hot Wheels stuff. You know, we could go all over the map. But this is what we do on Monday nights at 7 p.m. Have a pretty good following on this. I think last week, if I remember, let me see what we had. I think it ended up being at any given time, maybe 120 people, I believe, somewhere in that range, on the live stream watching along. And we did it on Thursday this past week at 3 p.m., which I also do weekly. And we had about 117, I think, somewhere in that range. So if you're here for the first time, sit back, get some popcorn, listen, relax, and see if you might learn something. If you have a question, by all means, pose the question, present it, and we'll look at it and see if we can't come up with an answer for you. Otherwise, just listen in. Also, if you want to be on the stream itself, I can send you an invite. If you send me an email to Joe Daddy's Garage at the bottom of the screen there, joedaddysgarage@gmail.com. If you send me an invite or an email, I can send you a direct invite to be on this StreamYard, on this stream. So anyway, I'll leave that up for a moment. I'm going to go through some of the people that are here. I see Derek Pro is here early, and he realized that we had our daylight savings time, so we're a little bit off. So Derek is here from Australia. I'm sure he'll be back. We have Killmaking ZXD is saying hello, and he gave me an elbow bump. Well, thank you for the elbow bump. Stay safe, right? Don't shake hands. David and Cheryl, which it is just Cheryl tonight. So glad you're here, Cheryl. Let me see. Doug Vanderwell, love the videos. Thanks. Working my first project, a 66 convertible, needing a new cowl, firewall, side panels. Can you share where you ordered replacement panels to balance cost, quality, other top advice? Well, I can tell you that all the panels that I've been or have purchased in the past have come from Mustangs Unlimited, which unfortunately is no longer here. So you have limited choices. I know that CJ Pony is probably the first one on the list. You have Kentucky Mustang. You also have NPD. There's several others out there. I think there's Virginia Mustang as well. But anyway, those are the places that you can get from. Now, I would go directly to Mustangs Unlimited here in Atlanta and handpick my panels. So that was a big advantage over all of that. Unfortunately, they're gone now, so I'm kind of stuck with whatever I get when it shows up. So I can't say if that helps you much, but other than that, if you were interested in finding a Dynacorn distributor, I have a friend named Ron Wolf, WOLFE. I think his Facebook page is Wolf Restorations, I believe. You could contact him and see if he can, get you some parts shipped. So other than that, if you have any other questions, we'll try to answer them. Jerry checking in from Middle Tennessee. Lightning Rod, where is the mask? Oh, well, my good mask is probably in the house. So no mask. Jeff Reynolds. Hi, Barry and all from Barking, Essex, UK. Glad you're here, Jeff. Crash Rider, greetings from Southern Indiana. Jeff, yes, sometimes we do talk about other stuff like movies, and we might talk about some movies tonight. Might. So we'll get back on that in a little bit. Clark Clifford, you had green on your last video. I don't know if I did or not. I don't remember. I may have. Leonard, evening all. How's everybody doing? I think, well, it looks like we're getting our usual turnout, which is great. But I'm glad you're here, Leonard. Hindsight, Roger checking in. Glad you're here. Dave Conville, late to class again. Not very late, but you're here. That's fine. Glad you're here. Lightning Rod, shout out to Virginia Mustang. Well, I haven't used them, but we'll give a shout out to Virginia Mustang as well. Bob Shoemaker, evening from Oklahoma. Bad Harry's Hideaway. Hello, Barry, and all fellow YouTubers. Glad you're here. Ronald Bell checking in from Northeast Tennessee. Willie Goodman checking in. Lightning rod, no mask. Yeah, no mask. Nobody, 1966. Hey, how you doing? Okay. That's pretty good. I think we've covered a lot of ground real quick there to kind of establish what's going on. Butch checking in from the other side of town. I'm glad you're here. And M Rod's F-150. Hello from California. Well, I'm glad you're here. M Rod's F-150. Wally of the North checking in. I'm glad you're here, Wally. Wally's here from Canada. And what about Bob? Also checking in from Sarnia, Ontario, Canada. Cool. And Cooter Lev checking in after 2 weeks dealing with ice storm aftermath. Wow. Well, I'm glad you're here, Cooter, and I hope things are well. I hope. I don't know what all you dealt with the ice storm, but I'm glad you're here. David and Cheryl, we got the motor to turn on the 69 Thunderbird, and tires are off. Good. Hopefully you can hear it fire up sometime soon, right? That's always the goal, to hear them run. Let's see. Drag Boss from Sandusky, Ohio. That's a new name. I have not seen that name before. I'll give you a bell for that. And Jeff Reynolds shouting out to Cooter Lev. All right. I hope everybody is well. I know that there's been a lot of stuff going on across the world. And okay, so Harry sent me some pictures of the 67 Mustang. Okay. There's a lot of stuff going on around the world. And, at this point, we're all just kind of along for the ride, but that's all I can really say about any of that. But let me see here. We got, okay. Tim Bowman. Hey, Barry, warm today in Michigan, 75. Well, it was like 75 here in Georgia. So not bad for Georgia. Crazy for Michigan, though, right? Rusty Ranch, Texas. Hello from Texas. Glad you're here. I guess Rusty Ranch, Texas. And Jack W. checking in. Glad you're here, Jack. But like I was saying, there's all kinds of stuff going on around the internet, news media, all these different things. And there may be some changes coming for, I have a Facebook page. So I'm debating on whether I'm going to keep up with the Facebook stuff. So just letting everybody know, just in case they were curious. There's a lot of stuff that Facebook limits or chooses whatever they want to have displayed on their, whatever. So I've been finding there's a bunch of different places out right now that offer varying types of social media stuff. One of them is called Parler, Parler, and another one is called MeWe. Those are the only two I've experimented with. And I think that with MeWe, you end up having to pay for services, I think. But anyway, just some information for you if you're curious about any of that stuff. I may be transferring. Maybe I'm not undecided right now. I may be transferring over to MeWe. It's very similar format to Facebook, but apparently they don't have all the ads, they don't have all the junk, and they're not limiting what people say or do. I'm sure it's within reason, but they, I think it's a pay service. So therefore you actually are more in control of what you offer on your page. So anyway, just a thought. That's all I need to say about that. Leonard saw the first right-hand drive on TV, or right-hand drive Mustang on TV. What is the world coming to? Well, what was it on, though? Was it, a TV show of something in particular, or was it a TV show from Australia? I know that, I've seen pictures, but I've never actually seen one. So I don't know how much, it's not uncommon if they would transfer that stuff around. And okay, so I have Let me see if I have Harry checking in saying he would like to be on the live stream. So we'll see how this works. He can give an update on his build, which is, I know, going to be really good. We'll just have to work on making sure he gets in one spot where we can keep his internet service. You know, he was on a stream before and we talked about it. And moving around, he ended up, had some delay in some of the footage and stuff going on. So we'll see how that goes. Jeff Reynolds, I'm 66 years old and never had to pay for services. Well, okay. So Leonard says the video was from Ireland. Well, see, there you go. Well, not something you would see in the States, that's for sure. Bob Shoemaker, sports car races. Oh, okay. So you're talking about like racing, seeing the Mustang, right-hand drive Mustang on a racing. Okay, I guess. Robert Magny, hello from Barry from Blanchard, Oklahoma. Well, hello, Robert. Glad you're here. While we're thinking about or talking about things, again, primarily we want to talk about cars and focus on cars and stuff related to cars. With that in mind, y'all have probably seen me use this tool a lot. This is Hitachi, and it's it's a 12 volt impact style, gun. I think the gun still works, but the batteries, it still holds power, but I can't get it to charge anymore. And I have to do some research on whether I can buy replacement parts for these. But this has been a handy little gun. I've really enjoyed using it. And I think I have 2 batteries. And like the second battery hasn't worked like in years. As long as I've had this gun, I think this battery, you can still see it's nice and shiny and new because it doesn't have any wear on it because it never got used because it just wouldn't hold a charge. Whereas this one, of course, still has a bit of a charge, but this is disappointing. Now I do have my DeWalt gun, which is very similar in size, but I like this one because it's small. The battery is small. So I'm gonna have to try to find another one and move on from there, but that's how things go. Leonard Jeff, he's talking to Leonard. Okay. A little more. He's going to open mine towards the right hand. I'd like to see a right-hand drive Mustang, really. Doug Vanderwell, what are some of your favorite must-have tools? Well, that's a good question. I'll say my favorite tool to use is my plasma cutter, but you don't really build things with a plasma cutter, so that doesn't help you in that aspect. I do have some videos out that I think they were titled Essential Body Shop Tools. And I talk about different things. Anything that's got all my air tools are obviously have to be very important to what I do. So air tools are really important to me. And I would suggest, same thing. If you're going to be working on cars and doing sheet metal, you're going to need air tools. You're going to need 90 grinders, rotary files, tools that cut and blend and smooth and all kinds of stuff. One of the tools I've been using recently, which has gotten some airtime, is the nibbler tool. So if you're unfamiliar with that, you can check, I think, the last video and the next video coming out, which will be on that fender. I use that little air nibbler to cut out stuff with. Works fantastic. Leaves you a lot of little shards of metal, but it does do a great job of cutting out that stuff. So, those kind of tools to me are most important. Other than that, body hammers, of course, welder, miscellaneous other hand tools, sanding blocks. You can just go down the list and see what gets used the most in any of the videos. But that would be. Oh, and then the other thing, and I'm probably I'll show this in my next video because I'm doing not the next video, but the following video, because the new video that's coming out probably tomorrow will be putting in that headlight bucket, which I've got it welded in now. And then the video after that, I'm going to weld in the antenna hole. you know, because I'm going to eliminate the antenna hole. And one of the tools that I'm going to use is a throatless shear. So I'll show you that because I've used this many times before, but this is a throatless shear. You know, it's like a metal cutting scissor type of thing. So I use that to cut out circular and odd shaped patches, but that'll be in the next video. Oh, and you know, of course, you got to have something like this. This is really, really fun to have. You know, you get your 4.5-inch discs. You do all kinds of crazy stuff with this thing. So all kinds of tools, all kinds of tools. And speaking of, since we're on the subject of tools, let me get another drink here. Since we're on the subject of tools, if you've ever noticed, it's kind of hard to see, but my welding cart has an array of vice grip style, you know, clamps, vice grips. Vice grip's a trade name, and that is, of course, the people that come out with, I believe they were the first ones to come out with the locking, you know, design that we use all the time. So vice grips is, of course, a trade name, but I think we all associate. It's kind of like Kleenex. You don't say facial tissue, you say Kleenex because that's what we're all associated with. Well, you know, recently, I say recently, it's been several projects now where I needed to use my, I think these are 6-inch, considered 6-inch, swivel jaw. Let me see. Well, I guess technically, they're going to call this 11-inch because it's the length, I guess. But these swivel jaw vice grips, right? Now I have regular trade name vice grip brand, and we all know that vice grip brand was sold out to another vendor, and then they kind of did okay with the reproductions, but they're not vice grip anymore. They've got another name on them. Well, I think they've gone back to vice grip now. They still have vice grip on it, but it's made by another company. Anyway, I wanted to bring this up because I have, you know, a bunch of these. Well, recently, you know, I've used these to clamp some bar stock into the fender or whatever and do my welding. Well, you can spend a bunch of money on these. You can spend a lot of money on these, or you can spend a little bit of money on these and get a generic one from Harbor Freight. Now, you know, you look at these things and they serve the same purpose, right? Almost identical in design. This one is Pittsburgh brand. Okay. This one, I don't know where I got it from, but I mean, there's no name on it at all. There's no name. And the part number is 51611 stamped here on this inner piece. That's the only part, that's the only name that's on it. But if you'll notice, these things are smooth. Like, I don't know who made this. I don't know where I got it from, but the whole thing is smooth and functions very well. Okay. And I'm bringing this up because, again, you can spend a lot of money on tools or a cheap amount on tools. I have like 3 of these, and I'll be honest, I'm ready to throw these away. This is a Pittsburgh brand, right? These, the plates aren't as thick. They don't have as much, bearing surface, let's say, when you do the comparison. This one has a fatter body on it. And then this one's a little thin, kind of a thinner plate, you know, maybe, I don't know, just a little bit thinner. But the biggest frustration I have with these is this. No matter what I do, I've tried to lubricate these. I guess, you know, they're a little bit, I mean, just doing that, just trying to thread that in. You can almost hear that, right? That's terrible. I can't even get it all the way in. And a lot of times the slider piece here inside will bind. Now, granted, you could do a lot of work to this. You could probably, you know, rethread these or whatever and have a $6 pair of vice grips. I'm really tired of these. I'm really tired of this because I like to grab a tool make it do its job, put it down, be done with it. You know, this one, you can't even hear that. It's so smooth, right? Well, I was at Harbor Freight today. I picked up some stuff, and Harbor Freight is now selling this brand, Bremen. Now I don't know, who Bremen is, but they have, some nice looking tools. This tool, like I said, $5.99 Harbor Freight. It might as well just go away. This one I think was $11.99. So you figure double the money, right? This thing, smooth as it should be, right? Functions smooth, no resistance. I noticed now, and I hadn't seen that before. There's it's got a square port or square hole in the bottom there that looks like a 1/4-inch drive, like you could put in a ratchet if you wanted to. I don't know why you would, but I'm thinking I'm going to like these. I'm probably going to have to buy more just because. So Bremen, right? Okay. Yeah. You can just feel the weight difference as well. Pittsburgh. Okay. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you because these things, you don't want to sit there and have to fight with a tool to do your project. And that's what I'm running into with those things. And I'm so tired of it. I don't know if I could make a display out of those or something, weld them together and make a set of antlers or something, out of a deer, I don't know, make something weird out of them. But anyway, just wanted to share that with you. Spend a little bit more money and get the decent tool, instead of, I think, these, if they were Vice Grip brand, it would probably be $19-20. So just saying, I may have to see if they sell these on Amazon. Shout out Amazon. Okay. Let's see. Let me get back up here to where these comments are. Warsaw Patriot. Been a while. Yeah, I don't know that I don't know when it was last you were on, but I'm glad you're here. Ever use sanding tips on Dremels when sanding down messy welds to make it smooth and clean? I don't use Dremels. I'm just not. They're a little bit too small or light duty for what I normally do, but I don't use Dremel. But I mean, they do. I know that some people do, and they do a good job for little detail work. I know that. I have a Dremel, but I don't usually use it for doing like bodywork stuff. Leonard had a guy that worked for Hilti tell me buy a rigid battery tool from Home Depot because their batteries are lifetime guaranteed. Well, I'll have to check into that. Warsaw Patriot, I saw your video on fixing the bumper. The bumper. Okay. That could be several videos, but I'm glad you saw it. Brian Bergman, I bought an Evercraft half-inch air impact from Napa. Won't even remove lug nuts. Very disappointing. Any suggestions for a reasonably priced half-inch air impact? I don't know. I mean, first of all, what do you consider reasonably priced? And secondly, how much you wanting to use it and stuff like that. A lot of the stuff now that is coming from Harbor Freight, I hate to say it, but a lot of stuff that they're selling now is really improved, and it's not just basic tools. They've also got a line of air tools now. I can't think of the name. I did buy their inline air sander that I have, the Baxter. So they have a variety of Baxter air tools that I like, but they have another one where it looks like the little 1/4-inch 90 grinder that I showed last week. They have another one there. The one I looked today, the one I used from Harbor Freight is $19, I think. They had another one looked almost identical to it as far as size and even design, but it was another name brand that was like $45. So whether it's any better or not, I don't know. But I know a lot of times they are picking up or getting better on their tools. So Leonard says CP air impacts. So is that, I guess that's CP essential pneumatic, right? So we might give them a look. Roger Irwin bought vice grips. Yeah, that's correct. It was Irwin. You get a bell for that. And they also changed I know that the quality went down after Irwin took it over. And I don't know if they retooled and went back to the other design. I don't know. But I know that the prices are still up there. Jeff says vice grips are called, now is it mole grip? M-O-L-E, mole, like a little mole creature? Mole grip in UK? Or do I say molly grip? So I don't know. I'm going to guess mole grip. Derek Pro finally made it. I'm on a coffee break. Well, I'm glad you're here, Derek. Glad you're here. Leonard, that's Leonard, that's what I'd say to the Harbor Freight clamps are junk. Yeah, the cheapest ones are that. They're just cheap. Clark Clifford, so why don't you alter them rather than buy new ones? I don't even want to spend the time, honestly. I don't know even if I fought with these, with that Pittsburgh brand, and I could mess with them for hours and still end up with the same results. I don't have time for that. I'm just get rid of it, move on. That's the way I look at it. Let's see. You have to smooth the end where it touches the slider. Well, that may be, but it's still, I'm really, I hate to say excited, but I'm really looking forward to using this Bremen brand because, man, it is nice. It is nice. So, Doug, where do you get your 2-inch sanding disc for your die grinder, and what grid do you prefer? Well, Doug, I can tell you this. I've never bought 2-inch sanding discs. You may find that as a shock, but the reality is when I worked for the airlines, we went through those things like candy. 2-inch, 3-inch, all kinds of stuff. And the area that I worked in, they would go through, I mean, sanding discs were, for what they were used for, they would only remove so much material and then guys would toss them because they would lose their bite really quick. So 3M brand, Norton brand, didn't matter. We would sit there and we'd, do our job and toss them. So I literally I couldn't tell you how many I saved because they would get thrown out every day. And I would take Kroger bags or, grocery store bags and just throw them all in a bag and bring them home. And all the ones that I've used that you see in my videos, they're all used. Those are all used. And I probably have, if I have less than 5,000 of those things, I'd be surprised. I would be surprised because I saved them for the last 20 years. I would save those discs. So I have enough to last me probably forever, in the way I look at it. But yeah, that's what I use, 3M. And then of course the grits, I think the roughest grit I use is a 40 grit. And then maybe, I don't know if it goes 80 and 120. I don't know the actual numbers because we would reference them by the color of the disc on the back. So like an orange or an orangish one was the roughest one, and then yellow was less aggressive, and then white was about as fine as we would go. So, but yeah, I haven't bought any of those in ever. Doug, plasma cutter, yeah, they're pretty cool. Yes. Leonard, Frankentruck maybe. Yeah, it could be the Frankentruck video bumper he's talking about. Could be. Marshall, I've been happy with my earthquake impact from Harbor Freight. I've heard good things about those, but I haven't invested in the battery operated stuff. But I think that one's battery operated, if I'm not mistaken. Leonard, I bought a Baxter belt sander. That thing works great. It does. It does. Joe Pendola, AirCat has reasonable prices for air tools. 1/2-inch gun, $130. Everyone in my shop has one. Oh, never heard of AirCat, but I'll take your word for it. Bad Harry, I bought 10-pack of 11-inch swivel pad locking C-clamps for $69.99 Canadian. Works great from Amazon. Well, there you go. That 10-pack. So that was, $7 a piece. That sounds good. Might be even cheaper in the U.S. I don't know. Shelby and Jason checking in. Glad to hear Jason. Glad to hear Shelby. Hataru Porsche. Hataru? I'm going to say Hataru. Hataru Porsche. Greetings from Japan. I don't know if we've had anybody from Japan before. That's awesome. That's awesome. I've had Australia, New Zealand, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, UAE, I believe. I think Saudi Arabia. I don't think we've had Japan before. So glad you're here. Leonard, your video on the finger was very helpful. On the finger? On the finger? What are you talking about, Leonard? Video on the finger. Maybe fender. Maybe you mean fender. It's spell check getting to you. Yeah, I'm going to say you meant fender. Mitch, let's go. I have a 68 GTA code coupe. I'm 16, and I'm thinking of painting it for graduation. How much should I be looking to spend for a nice paint job? Thanks. Well, that's a good question. You say you're thinking of painting it. Does that mean you are thinking of painting it, or you're thinking of having somebody else paint it? That's two different scales. So you give me a little more information on that to see what you're really looking at. Kelly Apple. Hi Barry, a little off topic, but what gun have you been using for clear coat? Any purposes other than non-HVLP? I actually use a DeVilbiss gun. This is one, I don't even know what the model is. Let me see if I have it up here. Yeah, I don't know what the number is on it. This is one that we had at the body shop, so it's a DeVilbiss. It says plus on the side of it, and it works. Whether it's the best gun out there, I can't say, but it works. It has it says DeVilbiss number. It says number 410 on the tip, and then K3 on the bottom. So that's all I can tell you. That's what I use. Like I said, there may be other better guns out there, but that's what I have. Leonard, TP Tools has the best buy on 2 and 3 inch, I guess 2 and 3 inch sanding disc. There you go, TP Tools. Dave Britton, hi Barry. Most of my air tools are Ingersoll Rand, pretty decent stuff. Yes, I will say they do make a good tool. That's a good call. Rick Stevenson, I put the Panama plate in the mail today. You should have it by Friday. Well, thank you, Rick. You still have to let me know what I owe you for that. Yeah, Leonard says, now it says Finder. Leonard, I'm sure you mean Fender. You went from finger to Finder. It's okay. We get it. Randall, suggestions for wood and quarter panel to rocker panel. So if you're talking about the inner section there, where the flange for the quarter panel comes in and sits on top of, I can't turn my hand around, but sits on top of the rocker panel. I'm assuming that's what you're referring to, right? I go through the opening where the door or the window, remove the trim, obviously. I get it in place and I drill holes in the panel, pre-drill holes. And then you can do it a couple different ways. You can go pre-drilled holes, or you can even do a flange weld, kind of a lap weld where you got the flange sitting on top of the rocker, and then you can weld that edge and hold it in place. I've done it both ways. I've done it where I've drilled holes and plugged them, and I've done the edge weld as well. So either way will work, but that's what I would do. So that's how I've done it on all the Mustang stuff anyway. I know it's different on the Camaros. I'm trying to remember how that flange worked out. It was a little bit different, but it's still same concept, Okay. Let me think what else it was I wanted to mention. So we talked about that vice grips. Oh, and if Harry, I sent you that link. So if you want to get on, by all means, go ahead and open up that link and see if you can get set up. So we're up to 117 viewers, and it's been 35 minutes. Cool, very cool. And again, if you have questions or ideas or comments, by all means, share them. we'll see what we can answer and put together. We need to get an update from Jason and Shelby and see how much they've gotten done on their coupe that they're building. So we'll have to get that. Have to see if they've done anything in particular on it. Let's see. Clark Clifford, you need to do a whiteboard. Yeah, it wouldn't hurt. Dave Conville, 94 on the board, a half hour in. Very nice. Yes. Let's see. You need a whiteboard for a to-do list. Make a red pin map of viewers. That would be great. That would be great. Hataru Porsche. I have a 1973 Mustang Mach 1 is getting ready for restoration. Awesome. Now, I have to ask. I see it says Hataru and then Porsche. Obviously, that's just got to be your YouTube name, I would assume, because it's unlikely that if you're in Japan, you would have the last name of Porsche, I would say. But I may be wrong. Clark says 118 viewing. Well, it says 120 viewing right now, what I see. Earl, I see the Jade fender behind you. Is the bucket repaired and installed? It is. And that's the next video that'll be coming out tomorrow. Let's see. Derek Pro says, more likes, guys. Yeah, throw a thumbs up on this video. Get it up there. We'll see how it goes. Nick Mass. Howdy, I'm TIG welding some pinholes in my tail panel with silicone bronze right now. You're my muse. Don't let me down, man. Important stuff here. Okay. I'm trying. Mitch, let's go. About to put in a 390 in my car. It's sitting down at mechanic shop in a garage wrapped up. Do you think I should wait for winter to pass to put it in the car? Won't be able to drive it till spring. Well, it doesn't really matter. You know, whether it's sitting in your garage or sitting in the car, it's still sitting, you know. If you got the engine bay prepped out, everything ready to go, why not put it in? Get it off your checklist and then, you know, go on from there. It's not going to hurt it to put it in the car. So I see you in the background, Harry. I'll get to you in just a second. Cheryl, any advice on how to break loose the brakes on driver's side, front and back tires? Ooh, nah, that's going to be tough. You know, I'm sure that you're talking about the Thunderbird and you're going to have drum brakes in the back. Big hammer. That's about all I can tell you is you're going to need a big hammer and just wail on it. Driver's side, front, yeah. I mean, that's about all you can do. Is kind of abuse it until it comes apart. Leonard, thumbs up. Thank you. Hataru, are Dynacorn parts good fitting? Well, yeah. I mean, for the most part, yes. All parts are going to have problems, but I'm going to probably lean more towards Dynacorn as having a better panel at this point. But they still need work, so everything needs work. Thank you, Earl. Six Pistols. I got a car with some minor dings that ought to be easy to get out. Should I try to work on it without any prior bodywork experience, or is that a bit of a risk? Well, it depends what you're trying to do. If you're trying to do like paintless dent repair, that's not easy. If you're just trying to do a general blend of the low areas and apply filler, that's probably your easier option, and it also gives you a chance to learn. I've shown a lot of videos where I've done dent repair and block sanding and that sort of thing. So if they're just small dents and you want to access them from the outside, if you're going to be repainting it, that is. If you don't plan to repaint it, get somebody who does PDR. Just save yourself the effort. If they've got the tools, let the PDR guy straighten it out, and don't fight with it, because you may end up causing more problems that way. But if you're going to do some paint work on it, look at sanding it, putting some filler in, block sanding it, and go from there. Hataru, need doors, front fenders, and whole floor to replace. Well, Dynacorn may be your only option. So that's about all I can say. Derek, spray some penetrating spray over a couple of days, then persuade. Yeah. So you're talking about Cheryl's question about the brakes. That's another thing you can do, is spray everything down with penetrating fluid. I worked on that Dodge Dakota. Well, Nissan, whatever it was, knockoff, where I put on the ball joints and stuff. And I had to put in penetrating fluid and wail on the rotors to get them off the truck. And that was a fairly modern truck too. Let's see. Bob Shoemaker, my brother-in-law and me built a 351 Cleveland in a 70 Mach 1 during one winter, and we wore it out, starting it for different customers. Cam went flat. Oh, yeah, that's not good. That's not good. Rando, is brazing the best option for joining quarter panel to panel behind the deck lid? Can't weld flange in that area. Well, that may be your only option then. I mean, I know I can crawl in the trunk lid and there's a drop flange between the deck filler panel and the quarter, and I've been able to weld that. But if you can't access it, well, then brazing might be your only option. All right. Let me remove this for a second. Okay. We're going to get Harry on, and he's going to give us an update on his coupe to fastback conversion. I hope. How you doing?
Good, Barry. How are you guys?
I'm doing good.
Just getting used to the camera thing here.
Yeah.
I've got a couple weekends. I guess it's been what was it, October 24th when we talked last.
Okay.
And I'm not going to go out to the garage this time because I watched the video afterwards, and you were asking questions, I wasn't hearing them, and
okay,
it kind of became a little bit of a like freeze frame thing.
Yeah.
But since then, I've got the trunk in, the floor in, all the rear rails. I took some screenshots. I can actually show you those.
Okay, I'm actually going to try to let me see if I can get these two images you sent me.
I actually got them on my.
Yeah, I got. Okay, I'm going to pull those up on StreamYard. It'll make it a little bit easier. Yeah. Okay.
So that's kind of where we left off 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And then October 31st weekend, I started here. This is the one-piece transition piece to the trunk. It's upside down right now. I'm just laying out my frame rails.
Okay.
And then I'll just scroll through. I have a few pictures here. This is me just measuring, getting my centers right, laying it all out before I drilled the other sides for my spot welds. Again, just laying it out. Here is the floor. Just sitting there, I was just marking my spot welds on that. Again, that's the back transition piece before. You can see how rotted it was.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
The reason it's all like that is I was taking out the floor or the frame rails, and it wasn't going so good, and I just yanked on it, and it just ripped apart.
Wow.
So, and I just bent it around, and I'd had enough by then, so I just took it all out. Here's I've just got the floor sitting inside. I remember we left off. I couldn't decide whether to put the floor in or the rear frame rails and the torque boxes.
Right.
So this is kind of what I ended up doing. I tilted the floor up, put the then I put the torque boxes, C-clamped them up because like yourself, I was by myself, so I want to get it done. So I ended up getting there it is, all cleaned right out from the back of the trunk.
Okay.
And then here's the floor pan. Drilled all the holes down the sides for the frame rails, and just together here, nothing welded yet. But I had it screwed in and bolted in. I used the seat belt holes on the front of the rail and just bolted them through on the front, and then just screwed right at the very back of the rail. Had everything fitting just perfect. This is just kind of the process of putting the stuff in. There, I jumped ahead. The floor's all welded in here.
Oh, good.
This is the front kick panel.
Mm-hmm.
All welded in. and we got into the rear. I've got that finished up. It fit really nice. I was really happy with the Dynacorn. You know, there's always a little spot, a little hammer here, a little, you know,
Sure.
suck it in. Sheet metal screws, if anybody's doing this, are your best friend.
Yeah.
You know, that little gap you got there and you want to suck it in, you put a screw in and it brings it right together. So I was pretty excited to get that far done. And there's, like I said, there's the floor again in the front. All fit really well. Back trunk again. Now all this around the trunk, the wheel houses and everything you'll see in my next phase from last weekend. I think I'm almost done the pictures here. They're getting to be repetitious. So I'll go into I have another file here, my November 4th or 7th file. So here's my Fastback roof.
Okay.
So that's an original roof. That's all I got, and but it has all the inner structure.
Okay.
So that's with me. I sanded it all down. I got those like plastic webby discs that you recommended. They work great.
Yes. Yep.
But this car, I wish I should have taken a picture of it. It had an old 70s paint job, a real heavy metal flake.
Oh, yeah.
And you grind over it, and then it all turns silver. You got silver flake, and then you got to get past that. And it was a lot of work to get it down. But there's the back. From the back, I've got at this point, I've got the quarter panels taken out. That was a struggle.
Okay.
You can see right in here. This portion here is still part of the quarter in. I wasn't sure how to do it, so it's my first time doing one of these. So I ended up figuring it out and got it apart. But I spent probably, I don't know how many hours on that. I spent a lot of hours on. Okay, so here, jumped ahead. This is the same car with the quarter panels off. You're
Right.
looking at the rear floor, and I managed to take it all off in one chunk.
Well, that's what I have. I have that picture you sent me.
Yeah. There's another one here. And here's how I took it off. This is the back wheel houses. It came off nice with my hoist. That's my that sure
Okay.
helped. I just chained it at the back and front and cut away. So there's my Mustang flatbed truck. That's what it looked like to me when I took it off. And my wife came out into the garage when I did it. She went, "What did you do?" She just, well, when you look at it now, it doesn't look like much of a car.
Right.
And I took that all off in one piece there.
You know, somebody might want that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like this was done maybe 10, 15 years ago. The quarters were done on it.
Okay.
And they were done very poorly.
Okay.
And I don't know if I would sell it to anybody, to tell you the truth. It wasn't good at all.
Yeah.
One bit of information I found out that was the drip rails around the edges here, the lip where your chrome snaps on here, is about 1/8 wider on a coupe than a fastback.
Interesting.
It's not the same width. So on the rest of it, I need to. I pretty well need to grind it down and get that little lip on there for the chrome to catch on.
Well, you know, they sell those pieces.
Oh, do they?
Yes, I actually have.
Okay.
I have two of them. I have two of them hanging up in my rafter right now, because I did the drip rail repair on the '68 that I have, and I thought I could use a section from one of those, and I did use a section from one of those, but now that you mentioned, I had to weld material on so that the width was the same, because the original was wider and then the coupe one or the fastback one was narrower. But they do sell those. Dynacorn has them.
Right. And the gentleman that was just on there asking about Dynacorn parts. These are all Dynacorn parts. If he's in, that's all. Anything that was gray primer is Dynacorn.
Right.
But that's where I'm at right now. Let me go back, see if I can switch back here now.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna show these other two pictures that you sent me, just to see them a little bit bigger. You got with the chain hoist or chain going through the back of the car onto your lift.
You probably got a better picture.
And then the other picture of it sitting out in the yard. Yeah, that's something right there. That is something. I mean, I'm impressed. You say this is your first. Obviously you've worked on cars before, but for this to be your first really serious build, I'm impressed. I mean, that's a lot of people would probably not jump this far into their first build, but I think you have a good grasp on what you're doing.
I kind of forced into it. I didn't realize this car was that bad.
Right.
So, but I'm not afraid of work. So,
yeah.
And like I said to you in that email, this is built by men, so men can repair it.
That's right.
Or fix it.
That's right. That's when somebody asks me something. Whenever I see I get challenged by something, and I'm like, well, somebody else built it. That doesn't mean they're any better than me. If somebody else built it, I can figure out how to copy it or rebuild it. So a lot of people get frustrated or dissuaded by the idea that, well, this guy's whoever did that was way smarter than me or way more advanced than me. No, if you can kind of break it down into how it was built and reverse engineer it in a lot of sense. You can do these things.
That's the biggest thing I found, like taking that fastback quarter panels off. The roof overlaps and is squished between the inner, and the quarters is squished between the inner and outer. I'm going, right. Oh my God, is this actually all attached, or does it actually come off? So you just take your time and don't cut too much away and hope for the best.
Yeah.
But I guess that's why I have a welding machine, in case I make a mistake.
And that's a nice thing about metal. It's not like wood. You cut a piece of wood wrong, toss it. But a piece of steel, I can add more material onto that and keep going.
Yeah.
So that's the advantage there.
And I've worked with my hands all my life. I work construction all my life, so I'm not afraid to build anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've definitely been using my hands since I was a kid. So I'll get in there anytime. I'm gonna throw up some questions up here.
Absolutely, yeah.
Or answer some people's responses. Let's see. Oh, Bob's saying 128 viewing. Well, there's 146 right now, Bob. At least what I see. Amitra Redwine. Hello, everyone. Glad you're here. Brian Francis checking in. Roger, good point, Bob. Make sure you can brake in the cam on the first couple of starts. Flat, not roller. Yep. Derek Pro from Australia says, nice work, Harry. So I'll give you a bell for that.
Thanks.
For sure.
Thanks, Jerry.
Hitaru, also my Mach 1 is a Q code. Any suggestions on what to do with the engine, supercharge it, any other mods for more horsepower? I'm not going to offer any, suggestions because I don't know what's available. But I mean, you could put a supercharger on there if you wanted to. Any thoughts, Harry, on that engine for his 70? I think it's 73 Mach 1 is what he had said.
What motor does he have in it?
It says it's a Q code. I'm trying to remember what the Q code is. I don't remember. But I mean, there's plenty of mods you can do to that car, but I don't know what to tell you exactly. Dave Britton, question for Harry: where are you going to source your rear window and rear window chrome? Where are you getting your interior pieces? Thanks.
I've bought used chrome. I can get a used window. They're available. They're out there. You just got to either throw an ad out somewhere, or the windows I'm having a hard time buying, and I might have to go new, is the side fastback windows. I bought that car, and I've sold more parts off that car than I paid for the car, so I'm not out anything. I still have, the dash, and I still have lots. I got the chrome, I got the grill, I have everything. And,
Okay.
I'm probably, but there's probably a lot of guys like me that are out there selling a lot of parts off these cars, and some guys want them real brand new, shiny. This is going to be a driver. For you guys that haven't seen the first part of this car is actually not only going to be a fastback, but it's going to be going to have the new Ford Coyote engine in it also. So the gentleman with the 73 Mach 1, if you're trying to, obviously you're not worried about keeping it original. You want to go 400 horse right away. Just drop a used F-150 engine in it, and I got one for $1,000.
Yeah. Now I don't know what's available to him in Japan though.
Oh,
that may be the only. Yeah, he's in Japan, so I don't know what his options are. That's why it's kind of hard to say do this, do that.
Yeah,
I don't know what's available. So
I have no idea.
Okay, Big Smoke is saying Harry Barry. Yeah. 777 Smitty, I'm jealous. That is the cleanest build I have ever seen. You know what? I agree with that, except for, the Brooklyn Pony was pretty clean. Well, parts that I assembled, the parts that came off the car were not as in really, that good a shape. But for what you have, I mean, everything looks fantastic. So, and he says, great job, by the way.
Thank you.
Derek Pro, cut the body in half. Be great on a garage or shop wall. So he's talking about taking the Mustang roof and stuff you have and split it, and
yeah, that's a good idea.
It might work.
I do have a spot.
Yeah.
But I only have one spot.
Lightning Rod, you guys are amazing. Well, thank you for that. Okay, here you go. Nick Mass, cough, drip rails. I'll take them. Well, I don't know if you're going to be able to see. You've already cut through the post. So I assume you cut through the drip rail and everything on the front.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Well, I salvaged the drip rail right up at the top front of the window, the curve.
Yeah.
I was going to use it, and I drilled out the spot well. It's got a nice piece of plate metal with it because it goes up so far. But then after that, it turns into a totally different piece. And that's when I found out after I salvaged it that I can't use it, or I'm going to grind it down and then peen it over a little.
Well, I'm telling you, I actually have two of them hanging up here for a fastback. Dynacorn makes them. So
I can't get across the border though.
Yeah. Well, I cut off that much of one of them. So
if Dynacorn makes them, I'll just order them.
Yeah, you'll be able to get it. Not a problem. Hey, we're up to 160 viewers. Let me see here. Derek Pro, the good old days, like you said, built by men, not machines. Yep. And they're keeping up with the viewer count. So, Alex, OB1, what are your thoughts on a 2009 Expedition? Well, it depends. What condition is it in? How many miles are on it? I think Roger Hindsight might be able to give you some insight as to problems he's had with his. With the we think it's the chain mechanism failed and messed up that engine. So depends on how many miles are on it. A lot of variables to that. Otherwise, well, they're good trucks as far as that goes. But I don't know what kind of answer you want. So Yeah, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Yep. Could it last 250,000 miles? Well, it could. Again, it's kind of hard to answer the question because we don't know what the history of it is. Any vehicle, I've got a Suburban out here with 350,000 miles on it, and I still drive the thing. I've got, I've had multiple vehicles that have had 250, 300,000 miles on them, but maintenance is the key with anything. So, if somebody was keeping up with changing the oil, taking care of the filters, all those variables that come into play, you could be running into, depending on the mileage right now, you could be running into wheel bearing issues, transmission seals, axle seals, any kind of seal that's going to have wear and tear on it over time. I did a Suburban where I had to rebuild the spider gears on a Suburban with 200 and some thousand miles on it because they failed. So there's lots of little variables that come into play, but hopefully the thing has been taken care of and, will last a longer time, but I don't know. Lauren R. I'm here, bro. What's up, Ronnie? Okay. I don't know. 73 Turbo Pinto Highbury, get the headlight bucket done. Bing, bing, bing. It's in. I started editing the video tonight before I came out here. It'll be up tomorrow. Lightning rod, I bound down to you guys. Oh, we have White Bull from Argentina. Awesome. So we've got Australia, Japan, Argentina. We'll have to see what other countries check in. Derek Pro go on Mustang groups via Facebook. Lots of bits out there. Yes, that is true. Oh, Hitaru is saying his engine is a 351 Cleveland in that 73 Mach 1. But Dave is saying the Q code is a 428 Cobra Jet. So I don't know if Hitaru is saying it's a 351 Cleveland. I don't know. Maybe the engine's been changed. I don't know. But obviously, if you're looking at upgrades, look at your, getting better heads for it, bigger cam, that sort of thing. But if you're going to build a car with a supercharger, I think you have to be a little more careful. I think Harry probably has more insight on that, coming from the racing side of things. Would I be correct?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. If you don't know a lot about cars, they're the superchargers, turbos. They're a tuner's world. They hook those things up. You better have a laptop to make those things run, and you better not do one mistake and it's, pick up the pieces. The Clevelands are a very stout motor. The heads on those are like a big block head. The Windsor, the 351 Windsor, a lot more parts for. But I don't know what it's like. The Clevelands are getting rarer and rarer, the parts for them.
I have to keep it in mind in case
you might want to look at different options.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure Edelbrock make heads for them. I would assume, Trick Flow or somebody, I'm sure makes heads for them. Mm-hmm. But
they're rare though, and you'll pay double for those. Like you would over a 302 or.
So even the aftermarket companies are charging more for the 351 Cleveland parts, is what you're saying? Okay.
Oh yes, because there's not a lot of them out there.
Jorge is checking in. Yeah, I don't know what you missed. We've been talking a lot about different things. Derek Pro says, Hitaru, start with the basics. Headwork, camshaft, extractors, good ignition, and fuel system. Well, that's good advice. We have Riff checking in. Pedro is checking in. Glad you're here, Pedro. Dave Britton says 351 is an H or M code. Riff, just replaced all my brake lines on my 03 Cherokee. That's a good call. Got to play it safe. Dave is asking, Harry, where are you?
I'm in Ontario, Canada, just about 2 hours east of Toronto.
Okay, because I know Dave is up there as well. And so is Wally. So I'm not sure where, though. Canada's a big place, right?
I know there was one guy said he was from Sarnia. I heard that. And then somebody said north, and I didn't hear the town they're from.
Okay, that's Wally of
I've
the
been to
North.
Sarnia.
Okay.
I've been to Sarnia before.
Car guy Troy checking in, late to the party. Looks great, Harry. I agree with that.
Thank you.
Dave Britton, 73 Mach 1 Q code is okay. Hataru is saying Dave Britton, 73 Mach 1 Q code is with a 351 four barrel engine. Just check the specs. Okay. Bob Shoemaker,
Hey,
Explorers
Barry,
had the,
sorry. Do you mind if I just switch the camera again?
You all right?
I want to show them my other Mustang.
No, you're fine. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
See, let me
I'll
get Bob on
play
here for a
with the
second.
buttons.
Okay. Bob Shoemaker says Explorers had the V6 with overhead cam. Chain was at the back of engine, not front. Oh, yeah, that's not fun. I know he's talking about Expedition. I said Expedition in his question. Leonard, it all depends on how it's maintained. Yes, I agree with you 100% on that. Okay, so Harry is showing us his drag car, his full-blown drag car, I assume. Are you there?
Yeah, that's my.
That's a 65.
Can you hear me still?
Yep.
A 66 fastback. Yeah.
Oh, I just saw it. Okay, I thought I
There's,
saw it. Okay, 66.
My son and I.
That's a nice looking car. I'm sure it looks even better going down the track.
I just show yeah, it's a lot of fun inside it. That's my thumbs up to you.
Yeah, there we go. So what engine is in that car?
That is a 460.
Okay. And you said I had a what, 2-speed power glide?
It's a stroked 521.
Okay.
2-speed power glide, runs on pump gas. This is why this other project's not done. This is what I was doing all summer.
Yeah. Well, it's a good distraction.
It's bonded my son and I. Like I said before, he's been going to the track with me for 19 years.
Wow.
And
oh, what are you racing there? 64 Plymouth? Is that the opposite car? In that last shot, you look like it a 64, 65 Plymouth.
Yep. Yeah, it's a Valent, I think.
Okay. Yeah, those are cool cars too.
Yeah, that's pretty well. That's pretty well the pictures I found on the internet.
Okay.
This is one of my favorite with my son standing by it.
Yeah.
This was down in racing in Quebec.
Cool. Yeah,
I bought that car down in Florida.
Oh, really? What,
Yep.
I'm looking at the picture there. You need to have that car on a flat track with nothing behind it but that blue sky. If you do a photo shoot with it, that would be really sharp with those colors.
I think the closest we got to it was this one. This was at the track.
Yeah.
That's the closest we got to. And then the other one was kind of sunset.
Yep.
This was at the track too.
Good looking car. Now, what would you say the speed was on that?
I just want the other one. It does 150 mile an hour in 9.2 seconds.
That's moving. Let me check in with some. Let me check in with some of the people here. We have. I don't know how to say this. Sumya Sahu. That's my guess. Is saying hello. Pedro again from Portugal. I'd forgotten that. I couldn't remember. Sorry, Pedro, but I'm glad you're here. We're we're really covering the planet at this point. And Sumya Sahu is saying hello. I don't know what that says. I don't know how to say that. Oh, it's Portugal. Okay. I was incorrect. Okay, so Dave is correcting himself on the Mustang engine code. Let's see. Hindsight Roger says, Alex, my 2005 was virtually flawless to 194,000 miles, and it apparently ate the VVT and cam positioning mechanism. So there's some insight for you on the engine problem with Roger and his Expedition. So, those are the type of things you have to consider. Do not know Vescada Gamma. Do not know them. Tim Bowman, Q code for 73 Mustang is a 351 4-barrel. Okay, what is that, Harry? What do you got going on there?
That's my best friend. We're down in Georgia, and he is one of the winningest sportsman drag bike racers in North America.
Okay.
He's actually in the Canadian Motorcycle Hall of Fame.
Wow.
His name is Mike Konopacki, and I helped him out. I was his pit crew guy for years.
That's cool.
And Georgia, Florida, did the whole circuit. Texas, Arizona. Yeah, I've been a lot of fun with that fella.
That's cool.
And
Sumya is asking,
he usually runs 3.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he has 2 drag bikes and he runs 3 classes.
Okay.
And there's been a few years where he's won the championship in all 3 classes.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how many
wins.
Impressive. Yeah, huge. I can't hold a candle to that fellow.
No. Yeah. Sumia is asking, which country is this? Well, we're in the United States. So if that's what you're asking. Dave Britton, Oshawa. Dave Britton is from Oshawa. So we were talking about Canadian.
I was pretty well raised in Oshawa. Went to school there.
Okay.
Grew up there.
Wally of the North says he's 40 minutes east of Peterborough.
Okay. My son's in university at Trent. Yep. Okay. My son's in university in Peterborough. This is my son and his junior dragster.
That's cool. That's cool.
That's cool for a 5-horse Briggs and Stratton motor on alcohol. They run 8th mile on that and 7.9 seconds in the 8th.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Now, let me ask you this:
those motors and those things are just expensive.
Do they adjust for weight? Do they adjust for weight while you're doing that?
They can't go faster than 790. They're not allowed to.
But do they adjust for vehicle weight? Like, do they have to cross a scale and weigh so much, or they try to balance them out each one?
Nope.
Okay, so if you had somebody that weighed 90 pounds, if you had somebody that weighed 80, 90 pounds versus somebody that weighed 150, obviously the lighter car is going to have an advantage. At least I would think they would.
Well, it's ET Racing.
Okay.
Which is ET is a short form. I don't know if you know drag racing, estimated time. So
right.
You have to make your car run the time without running too fast.
So
just to make it simple.
Head then.
Just to make it simple. Okay. If he had an 8-second dragster and the other guy had a 9-second dragster, the other guy would leave 1 second before him. And everything comes into play. Your reaction time from the light,
right,
and making a good running vehicle to run,
right,
exactly 8.0 or 9.0.
Okay, that makes sense.
I can show you a little clip here. This is what I call my drum beat here. Oh, it didn't. It must be muted. No. Oh, I couldn't do that one. I don't know why it didn't play.
Well, let me answer some questions here. We have Brian Bergman. He says they also made a 351 Cobra Jet. Don't know the code. Okay. Andy is asking bodywork question on the 67 Coupe. Is rear window panel brazed at each end or just spot welded? I think it's both. I think there's braze in the corners, but it's spot welded underneath. If you're talking about where the deck filler panel, I've seen braze in the corners, in the bottom, upper and lower corners. Let's say where it meets the quarter panel, and then underneath I've seen spot welds. So probably a little bit of both. Dave Banner is saying, nice. Sumya, I cannot understand what you say. Your English is difficult to understand. I'm so sorry for that. I'm so sorry. Riff, am I jumping the gun at replacing my front suspension at 85,000 miles on my 03 Cherokee to prevent death wobble? Again, it depends on what the vehicle's been through. If it's just been driven around the highway miles, then it may not matter. But if you want to be proactive, you're probably better off to just go ahead and bite the bullet and get it done. So Jorge says, Harry, what color red is that's on your car?
I don't know the specific color.
Okay.
I didn't have it painted. You wouldn't believe that paint job is probably over 15 years old. Oh, compressor.
What did you say about the paint job?
It's at least 15 years old. The only thing I've painted on it was the hood.
Okay.
And there was no special color. I just tried to match what was there.
Okay. Yeah, 777 saying he hopes. Well, he says, "Well, Harry, that looks like the exact color I'm going to paint my car." So maybe you have an idea of what. Maybe 777 can tell us what that color is for his choice. Derek Pro, got to go, guys. Great catching up. Keep the great work, Barry and Harry. Stay well. Glad you're here, Derek.
Thank you.
A Mitra red wine. I started with the back of the car because I have no idea about the engine area. Well, that's fine. It's better to start somewhere than to sit there and not do anything. But that's good. Oh, okay. So Sumya, I am from India. Well, okay. Now we really got some variations going on around the world. Jorge, 145 watching. Yes. Fumpa, do you know anything about the Honda CT70s and what do you think about them? I don't know much about them, but I'd like to have one. I can tell you that. The little 50s and the little 70s trail bikes. Great little bikes, but they're not cheap. I know the prices keep going up. And I saw one for sale recently. It was $750 and it was just the frame, but it had perfect paint on it too. So that makes it kind of more valuable, but I don't have much to tell you on that, but I do like them. Monster Red Bull. I have a friend that does key cloning and makes a ton of money. Is that a better decision to work in a shop by starting your key cloning, or is that illegal? I don't know about key cloning. I can't tell you about what that's about. I don't know if that's the legality of it at all. So I can't answer that question. Let me see here. I had somebody 73 Turbo Pinto. Fred House Turbo T-Bird went 706 at 191 miles an hour with his 2.3 liter tall block turbo over the weekend. That's moving. 2.3 liter, I guess. It says 2.3 tall block. Or maybe I'm not reading that right. But that's moving.
I don't think that would be liter.
Yeah, I don't know. 2.3. It says 2.3. I don't know what that means. I'm
I
assuming
think that's how tall the block is. I'm not sure.
it could be. I don't know. Let's see. Where'd it go? Unfortunately, you get upside down real quick fixing up the high mileage 2000 plus stuff. That is true. You will invest a lot of money in these vehicles. Hindsight is commenting, maintenance is key. My daughter's 2012 JK got death wobble around 90,000 with 33s on it, upgraded steering stabilizer and track bar, and a driveway tow-in alignment made it drive like new. So there you go. There's a response to the Jeep question. I don't forget who asked. Oh, it says riff balling. So maybe that'll help out with that. Seamus Johnson says hello. Glad you're here. Goodmunder is checking in. Tires, even new ones, and worn shocks cause death wobble in Jeeps, especially on two-wheel drive Wranglers. Worn out suspension causes more rattling and loose steering. So there's another input. Okay, so Seamus is new here. First time I've seen that name, so I'll give you a bell for that. Cheryl is saying it's a Q code, Brian. Now, I'm not sure. Lightning Rod says, wow, 706, 191 miles per hour, 2.3. I may have to get some more clarification on that to see exactly what that means by 2.3. Warren Witten asked this last video, but you did not have time to answer. 1976, built in 1166. No torque box on passenger side. What brand would you recommend? And can it be installed without cutting the torque box? It's probably not going to matter on the brand. Whether it's Dynacorn or Spectra or whatever, they're all going to fit about the same. I would not try to put one in one piece. I would not try to do that. You would run into more problems, I think, than you want to deal with. And besides, it would be easier. It's much easier to put them in at least two pieces. So either you buy one that's pre-assembled and you cut it apart, or you buy the two halves and work those pieces in together. So that's what I would recommend.
The Dynacorn piece comes in two pieces, and it actually gives you the third. It gives you the third piece too, the little triangle. It's actually three pieces.
Yeah. So there you go. There's some insight for you, but yeah, I would definitely not try to put it in one piece. That would be a struggle.
The Dynacorn fit really well. I did both sides on mine. Mine's a 67, but it only came with one, but I put them in both sides.
Yeah.
They fit in really nice. I was so happy with them things. You know, the angle at the top where it meets the floor on the outside, you got to tweak it a little, bend it a little, but other than that, they weld it together nice, and when you put them in, it's solid.
Riff Ballin is commenting, okay, cool, I might upgrade the shocks and tires. The place I bought it from threw on some Fusion tires. I might get some Nito grapplers. Okay, that may help. I can't say for sure. Seamus Johnson, do you stream every Monday? I do at 7 p.m. 73 Turbo J code on the 351 CJ. I have a 71 Ranchero 351 CJ Cobra Jet. 4-speed drag pack. Marty report says 1 of 1. Wow. Okay. That's a rare combination. Cyber Games. Who you? Joe Daddy's Garage. Hindsight says Riff. We've had Nitos on it, and have had good luck. And in my defense, she was away at college when the DW came on. DW. I don't know what that means, Roger. What's DW? Monster Red Bull. Also, my friend is from the Honda Accord 2004 radio problem. Wait a minute. Also, my friend is the Honda Accord 2004 radio problem in Easy Fix. I don't know what the radio problem is, so I can't say for sure. A lot of these cars, a lot of the newer stuff, if you take out a battery and you don't have the code, your radio is junk. I mean, without the code, you can't use it. So you might be further ahead to swap out the, buy an aftermarket radio and put in the car. Hitaru about Mustang suspension, which is better, Total Control Products or Rod and Custom? That's a good question. I have not dealt with Rod and Custom. I've dealt with TCI. I don't know if Total Control is the same brand or not. but I've dealt with TCI. So I would suggest you go to a Mustang forum and see what people are using and what they recommend. Because since I have not used either of those in particular, I can't really give you an opinion. Okay. Dave Conville, Jeep death wobble is largely caused by cheap old steering stabilizer. Well, there you go. 73 Turbo, M code on the 73 Ranchero. And 777 says Scarlet Fever 2-stage Pearl. I think that's the color he's referring to. Scarlet Fever 2-stage Pearl. May or may not be what you have. Sir, do you discuss about automobile engineering? Well, we can. It depends on what the question is. Lightning Rod says that's a 2.3 liter. I don't know. And then also amazing what the 2.3 liter can put out. I would have to say if he's dragging that kind of speed, I would say that's pretty darn impressive. But I don't know. I've not seen it or, can't say for sure. Seamus, I have a Coleman C1200U mini bike. It is basically a lawnmower engine on a frame with 2 wheels on it. It does run okay. All right. I'm going to, let's see. Harry, do you have any other input you want to put into the program today?
No, you can kick me out.
Okay.
I'll let you know when I get to the next stage, when the roof's on and the quarter panels are on, and then I can move on to the engine swap and the fun stuff.
Yeah,
the IFS,
I'm looking forward to updates.
I got lots to do.
Yeah,
I got lots to do. Thanks for having me on, right? and yeah, and thanks everybody for the compliments on my cars. I could talk about them all day, like any other car guy.
All right.
We'll
see you next time.
Barry. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Monster Build, I got a chance to get I haven't gotten a chance to see one, but what is the 7.3 Ford Gasser? What is this 7.3 Ford Gasser? Would you know if that is a decent truck? I currently own a 6.0 Gasser. I don't have an answer for you on that. Warren, thanks. I'll get the 3-piece Dynacorn. There you go. There's your answer. Oh, death wobble. Sorry, Roger. I lots of stuff going on. So you were referring to DW said when she got the death wobble. So got it. Sumya, sir, do you discuss about automobile engineering? We can. I have to see what your question is. Lightning Rod, the tall block 2.3 liter block was a Ford Motorsports piece. Okay. And 73 Turbo, the 2.3 Ford SVO tall block was made for Trans Am racing back in the 80s, just about 170 cubic inches 4-cylinder. Fred went 706, 191 in a quarter mile. That's pretty impressive. Nick Mass, Total Control products are nicer nicer products in my opinion. So there you go. There's some input for you. I think it's Hitaru was asking the question. So Nick is giving a shout out for Total Control. So I'll take his word for it. Cody, I have a 2003 Nissan 350Z. What would you do to make it snap and go without forced induction and or forged pistons? That's probably a question I can't answer. I mean, that's more. I work on old muscle cars, Mustangs, Camaros, stuff like that. As far as trying to get something extra out of a 350Z, I probably can't answer that question. But you say better to buy a fast car than make a slow car fast. Yeah, that is very true. 65 Mustang Kid is checking in. Glad you're here. I don't know who Miss Kelly Raid is, but I'm glad you're here, Simon. Cheryl, good night, everyone, and please stay safe and do your part. Wash your hands, stay 6 feet apart, and wear a mask while shopping. I will agree with you on that. We all need to be more proactive in washing our hands in particular. 777. Cody, let us all know when your money tree puts out, please. Yeah, very much. Okay, let me see. Okay, so okay. So they're saying they're coming over from Miss Kelly Raid. I don't know who that is, but I'll take your word for it. 777 says, Cody, do a cam swap. Well, that may be an option too, but I don't know what all's involved as far as that with that particular car. Car Guy Troy, new 7.3 Ford gas engine runs great. Push rod motor, so you don't have to rev it as high as the 6.2 into the power band. Sold a few and people really like them. Better mileage than the 6.2 gas also. So there's an answer on that. Thank you, Car Guy Troy. Appreciate that. Shanky Streams coming over from Miss Kelly Raid. Okay. Simon Cantola, love your channel. Or live, I guess. Maybe it's love. I don't know. Either way, I'll take it. Bad Harry's 182 watching, only 64 thumbs up. Yeah, we all need that thumbs up. Lightning Rod, shout out to you on a great stream. Well, thank you for that, Lightning Rod. And Jorge, Total Control products are nicer and good phone support. There you go. There's another shout out for Total Control products. You know, it's tough to answer some of these questions because even though I have a pretty extensive background in cars and trucks and building and doing different things, I still have, the newer stuff is limited to me because I just don't have my hands in it. You know, I can work on a new Honda or whatever, or newer Honda or Toyota or whatever, but I don't do any kind of tuning on that sort of thing. And, when you start talking about these older cars, well, your choices are, you upgrade the entire engine to something more modern and then deal with that, or you start adding in different parts to the existing engine you have. So as an example, like the 68 Mustang that I have in the back, it's got a 302 engine. It's got a bigger cam in it. The heads have been cleaned up a little bit. I think it has roller rockers on it. So there's lots of little variables that you can add to help out with adding power and stuff like that to a car. But when it comes to the new stuff, it's like you can buy a chip for a lot of this stuff now, and it overrides the limitations that are put in from the factory. But I don't know enough about them to say buy this or do that. So just saying. Okay, let me move on. Iron Valley, bent over ground straps on spark plugs, carbon buildup. Oh, you're talking about the bottom of the spark plug at the arc point? Talking about being bent over or bent down and touching the electrode? I'm confused by the question. Let's see. Marcus Blevins, is the LT1 from the Z28 a good motor to upgrade? Well, I mean, it depends on what you're working on. You have to think about what vehicle are you starting with. So if you have a mid 80s Camaro with a 305 in it, then yeah, the LT1 is going to be a big upgrade. You could look at, and depending on what you want to spend, you can do the ZZ4 crate engine, stuff like that, if you really want to throw some money at it. But, it's going to be an upgrade if you're moving from a 305 type of engine up. So other than that, I really couldn't really tell you. Let's see. Goodmunder, Ian Valley. Yes, most likely saw that happen on a flatbed Ford tow truck caused by plugged up catalytic converter. So there's an answer to Ian. I guess it's Ian. Ian. Vivian She is saying hello. Glad you're here. Nick Mass, like putting the LT1 in something other than a Z28. Yeah, it's an awesome motor. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. You got to consider what it's going from to, kind of thing. Mike, having a tough time getting a tie rod end off. Any tips? Maybe just need a smaller pickle bar. Well, I mean, I can tell you how I have done it. It depends, where it depends on the size of it. A tie rod end, you can use the tie rod clamping tool. It's got like a bolt on the top and then it's hooked on the bottom and put pressure on. If you have one of those or have access to one of those, I've used those before and had good luck. But I've also gone to the default big hammer and whaled the side of the the eye where the tie rod goes through to shock it loose. Basically, that was something we always did at the junkyard. Anytime we had to take a spindle off or a tie rod or whatever, nail it with that big hammer, and it would shock the rust apart. So that may be something you need to look into. But you can also do it where you put that, the clamping device that I talked about, tie rod clamp, whatever you want to call it. You can put pressure on with that and hit it with a hammer, and hopefully that would break something loose as well. But that's typically how I deal with it. Could also try a little heat. It doesn't hurt. It's more of a cast piece. So if you were to apply a little heat, let it expand a little bit, tap it with a hammer and see what happens. Vivian, do you like 2JZ and RB? I don't know. I don't even know what that is, so I can't answer that. Marcus, I'm starting with the 3.8 V6. Oh, but yeah, by all means, go to the LT1. You'll be thrilled. You'll be thrilled with that combination. What is Joe Daddy's garage? Well, it's my garage that I have, that I work on cars in. And that's what you're looking at right now, my garage. So, okay, 3800 V6. Yeah. A 3800 V6. So what kind of car is it? 3.8. So what kind of car is it, Marcus? Tell me that. Let's see. Valentine's. What happens to a car engine after prolonged use of have you have a head gasket burned out? You're gonna have engine failure. Because if you've got the top gasket, you're talking about the head gasket, or are you talking about the valve cover gasket? You have to define that. Hard to answer that question. Bad Harry's, the reason I'm going with my newer Coyote engine is I like the power of the new 5.0 liter engine, 400 horsepower, and the drivability. Yep. I don't blame you. 73 Turbo, check your Facebook messages. Fred 706 Pass. I will do that. White Bull is checking in from Argentina. Man, we are getting all over the world tonight. I don't know who these it looks like we have a bunch of people coming in from India, which is interesting. I don't know. I don't think there's many Mustangs in India. At least I doubt it. It could be, but I don't know. Car Guy Troy, everyone in Canada must have a project car and learn to weld at like 4 years old or something. Wally, Harry, good stuff. Yeah. Good answer. Tom, missing you last Saturday at the cruise night, which was the last one until the first week next March. Yep. I saw you there, but I was busy talking to some other people, Tom. So sorry I missed you. We'll catch up again come March. Okay, Rick 007 in Alabama. Hello, buddy, watching from Alabama. Cool. Glad you're here. Okay, the V6F body. Yeah, you'll like that LT1. Yep, you'll like that. Lightning rod. Isn't the 289 small block Ford and a C4 a great simple combo? Sure it is. It's very simple. I mean, that's what they all came with. I say all. You had, some had 6 cylinders and 3-speed manuals, but the 289 and a C4, if you're just driving a little cruiser car, you can't beat it. Now there's others going to default as, as a cruiser type vehicle. If you had a 6-cylinder, get a little better mileage out of it, I guess. But I'm pretty happy with my 68 Mustang having, it was a 289, but now it's a 302 and the C4 transmission. For what I'm going to do with it, I'm not going to go out and race anybody or, do anything crazy with it. I just want to drive it and enjoy it. And that's the plan. Okay. I just got an email from from Shelby. We did a viewers project on her car. Her family did a viewers project. Let's see. Okay, I'll have to follow up with that in a minute, Shelby. But I'm glad you sent me that email. We'll get a look at it here in a minute. Or, I mean, I will. I'm not going to put it on here because I can't. Nick Mass, that's because the quarter panels rust off the cars in Canada. As they drive to the grocery store, they weld them back on every weekend. Tom, will you be attending the Moultrie Automotive Swap Meet in Moultrie, Georgia? If yes, your thoughts. I don't know yet. I probably should. I've never been to Moultrie. I've heard lots about it. It's like if you went to, Carlisle in Pennsylvania, which is huge, 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 huge. I don't know how big Moultrie is in comparison, but I've heard good things about it. I might be kind of scared to go because I might end up trying to buy stuff that I don't need. But you never know. I might check into it. Lightning Rod, drive it and enjoy it. Yeah, man. Yep. Adrian Rodriguez, is the Ford Lightning a good truck? That's a good question. I've worked on them. I rebuilt one at the body shop years ago. I know they run pretty darn good. It's usually they've got nice interior. Of course, it's got the supercharger on it. At least the one I worked on did. I assume they all come with superchargers. So, I mean, I'm going to say yes by default. I think they are good trucks, but it depends on what kind of mileage they've had on it. What kind of maintenance they've had to it. Those sort of things need to come into play. But yeah, overall, I'm going to say yes. Ray, your last two videos of the fender repair have been great. How many total dollars will it take you to complete? You mean the fender? That's a good question because it's really hard for me to judge the timing when I do this stuff because doing the video is what takes all the time. When I'm filming and all those sort of things, I don't know. I mean, if I were just doing it, other than the time it took me to strip, that was the longest time. It probably took me 2 hours to strip everything off of that fender. But the actual repair time, I wouldn't think I'd have really 2 hours in it for me. If I was just boom, didn't film anything and went to work, I'd probably have it maybe 3 hours, probably all it would take for me to get it straight. Now that's not doing all the body work. That's like fixing the damage, dolling out the dents, and then, get it ready for epoxy. That wouldn't be doing all the extra body work to completely smooth it. That would be doing the major repairs to that fender. So if that helps, I don't know. Carlos, I have a 2007 GMC Yukon. It says service four-wheel drive. How much that be to get fixed? I don't know, because that service light probably is telling you, there's something wrong with the four-wheel drive. That probably has the automatic. I assume it has the automatic four-wheel drive, or it has the push button switch on the dash. And at times, I think if it weren't cycled properly, like I think there's a sequence to putting it into four-wheel drive, like putting it in neutral and different things like that. It may have got something out of sync. So it's really hard to answer that question. Eddie, I have an 88 one-ton Dodge for sale. Well, that's good. Can't help you there. I don't know how to say that, but somebody's saying hi. Mika? Okay. They sound amazing too. I think you're referring to the Lightning, maybe? I don't know what that is in response to. Vivian, do you like turbos or superchargers better? That's a good question. I think if I was to build something, I would probably more into the turbo idea, but I have not built anything with either. So I can't say specifically, but I like the way the turbos work, so I would probably lean more towards the turbos. Car Guy Troy, any other trans options recommendations automatic wise for a 390 FE? Have a 67 Mustang 390 convertible pieces and trying to plan ahead. Depends on what you want. You can do the automatic overdrive. You can do the 4R70W conversion, which is what's in the Brooklyn Pony car. Other than that, your choices are kind of limited. To a C6. I would probably go with a C6, but I really don't have an easy answer for you. I have heard, and you can get upset with me if you like, but I have heard of people using a GM. What is it? The 200 overdrive automatic that they make adapter plates for it, and it's a smaller transmission, so you don't have to fight with it fitting into the tranny tunnel. From what I understand, I think it's a 200. But anyway, there's a GM transmission that is an overdrive, and it's smaller, and it adapts to that. So you may want to look into that as well. That may be an option if you're interested. Otherwise, C6, 470W, or the AOD is probably, I don't know if there's any other options or not, but let's see. I have a 2010 CF Moto U-Force 1000. Okay. I don't know what that is. And trying to hook up 4 small LED lights and a light bar. I have 2 relays installed for the 4 small lights, so I need another relay for the LED bar. That's a good question, and I can't answer that. I don't know what the capacity, what the draw is, and what the relays handle. So I can't say for sure. I can't say for sure. What's better, swapping a 6.2 liter LS Supercharge from a Camaro Zl1 or a 6.0 from a Hummer H2? I'd go with the Zl1, in my opinion. I'd go with that 6.2 LS Supercharge from a Camaro. Yeah, I would do that. The 6.0s, they do make plenty of power, but I'd be more into that 6.2 LS Supercharged. Okay, so Ray, thanks. That's the answer I was interested in. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, you're talking about the time. Okay, Tom, Moultrie Swap Meet is the South's fastest growing 3-day November 22nd through 22nd swap meet. 70,000 square feet of inside spaces and over 4,000 outside spaces. That sounds like I need a little scooter for that. That's gonna be a lot of ground to cover. Pub Boss, what do you think about the upcoming 2021 Mach 1 Mustang? I haven't really looked at it that hard. I know that they come out with the SUV looking thing, which I'm totally not a fan of. But I don't know the specs on the 2021. I haven't looked at those very hard yet, so I can't really give you an opinion. I'm not a fan of the SUV thing. If that falls into the same category, I'm not a fan of the SUV thing. Not at all. Car Guy. Car Guy Troy, love the new Fender videos. Those are awesome. Well, thank you for that. Agreed. Great video with the Fender repair. Thank you, Dave. And there will be another one. Like I said, I'm going to do this. This video will be next with the front section. And then I'm going to do one more video after that. And that's going to be repairing the antenna hole and also taking care of some dents. And I'll probably put it in epoxy at that point. So. Bad Harry says turbo is more reliable. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Syntax, I just got a new V8 Supercharged 1989 Fox body. I have a convertible top, but need it installed. How much would a shop charge me because it has to be done professionally, I assume? That is a very good question. And I don't have an answer for that. I know we did put on some convertible tops when we had the body shop years ago. And usually they go by a flat rate type of reference. So like if they have a estimating program, it'll tell them, hey, it's going to take, X amount of hours to put this top on. And then it goes by their labor rate, of course. So I don't really know what they would charge. I don't even want to throw a number out there because it might be way off and then I'd be not feeling good about it. Randall, good night. Thanks for the comments on quarter panel welding and brazing. Wheelhouse and half the trunk are in my 67 Cougar. Looks like a Dynacorn. Rear quarter panel is going to fit perfectly. Awesome. That's good to hear. Tommy, what do you think about BMW E25s? I don't think about them. I'm not into BMWs or Mercedes or any of those cars. Sorry. Don't have an opinion on them. Okay, so you're saying it's a side-by-side. All right. Yeah, I don't know what the draw is on those. Hindsight, 200 R4 or 4R transmission can be built strong, but needs to be built that way. Stock ones aren't strong enough. There you go. Whoops. Honda Civic starts good. Isaac. Honda Civic starts good for 3 starts, then after has trouble starting. All it does is crank. Could it be my ECT sensor? Yeah, there's too many variables there. I mean, it starts good for 3 starts. So are you starting it and driving it, or is it starting and dying? I don't. The question leaves me kind of open to that. I mean, you could have. I don't know. It could be a bad fuel filter. There's a lot of variables to that. It's kind of hard to answer those kind of questions. Dave Britton, thumbs up, guys. Yes. Cuz 63, 190 people. Yeah. 190 people. That's pretty impressive. Nathan is back, is saying hi. Okay. Goodmunder is answering a question, I think. Isaac, more likely crank position sensor, even a fuel pump issue. ECT is engine coolant temperature sensor, but haven't worked too much on Hondas. So there you go. Maybe that'll help you with figuring that out, Isaac. Lightning rod, Mustangs over. Okay, you're saying over BMWs. Okay. Rick, the last time I had a top replaced almost 8 years ago, it was about $500 for labor. So there's a reference to you for that top. Again, it depends. The times change. So 8 years ago, $500 might have been reasonable. Today, it might be 800 or 1,000. It's really hard to answer those questions. Adrian Rodriguez, what mods can I do to my 2014 V6 Mustang, not EcoBoost, to push a little more horsepower out of it? That's a good question. And I'm not going to have an answer for that. Again, I focus on older cars, so it's really hard for me to give some information on that. But if somebody has an answer to help them out, let Adrian know what he can do to help boost the power in his 2014 V6 Mustang. Greg is checking in. That's another one from Australia. Glad you're here, Greg. Hope all is well. Bob, bringing up Hondas. The Civic. You're talking about little Civic I have? I finally got the title issue taken care of. I don't know if I mentioned that before. I got this car basically donated to me, and we had to have the gentleman I got the car from was sending me the title. He sent me the title October 13th. Okay. Certified mail, October 13th. It took almost a month for a certified letter to show up in my mailbox. So now that I have the title for it, now I can start ordering parts and try to get to work on that little Honda Civic. So that's going to be I'll do a video on that as well. Car Guy Troy, new Mach 1 is pretty cool. Not the electric Mach E thing. It's a real Mustang. Good looking car. Okay. I'll take your word for it. Because again, I haven't looked at it, and I'm sure it's got to be similar to the existing Mustang. Oscar, where do you think I could find repair manuals for cars? Well, I don't know where you're from, but I mean, we usually get them here at local auto parts stores. You may be able to do like Chilton is one of the brands that we would use, or Haynes. Not the biggest fan of Haynes, but Chilton is a big maker of manuals, so you may want to check with them. You can probably do a Google search. Chilton, Chilton. Cuz is saying, Adrian, do a cam swap headers and heads as well as aftermarket tune. So there you go. That's to help out with that Mustang question. Mitch, how's Jade coming along? What's up for her in the future? Well, there's the fender that I've been working on, which has turned into several videos, but that's okay. That was the plan, to not make a really long video, but to make segmented videos. Currently, I got to finish that fender, do a little bit more work on the driver's fender, and then I'm going to mock up everything, get the hood on, get the fenders in place, the valance panel, try to make sure everything is there that needs to be painted, and get everything ready so I can get it in primer and maybe get it in paint. Maybe. Hope so. Bart Simpson. Glad you're here, Bart. How's your dad doing? First time here. Can you give me a rundown on what this channel is about? Primarily, I do restoration type videos on old Mustangs. That's probably the biggest niche of this channel. I also work on Camaros, Chevelles, whatever rolls through the door. But my focus over the last several years has been Mustangs. So I build, I've rebuilt 65, 66 Mustangs. I'm building a 68 Mustang. I've got another 65 to build. Future videos, maybe a Chevelle, a 68 Camaro that I need to build. So that's primarily the focus here. And it's showing you detailed videos of how to do these type of repairs. I also do some maintenance videos where I do brake jobs, maybe some minor tune-ups. I rebuilt a cylinder head, or replaced a cylinder head on a car. I did knock sensors on a Toyota, tie rod ends, variety of smaller, item maintenance type things. But for the bulk, it's sheet metal work, fabrication, and repair work for old Mustangs and stuff like that. So hope that answers your question, but that is a good question. Glad you asked that, in case anybody is wondering. Let me go back up here. Pug B says, Adrian, try a Roush cold air intake. That's an easy add-on. That's a good answer. Bryce DeCastro checking in from Mesa, Arizona. Good to have you here. Lightning Rod, love your focus on the older stuff, especially the Mustangs. Well, thank you for that. Here's a question. Should I invest in a 93 NSX Honda with only 5,000 miles? It depends on 5,000 miles. That's pretty darn good. Those are probably only going to go up in value. So I don't know what the rating, what the value is currently. But odds are those are probably going to go up. So depending on what you can get it for versus what it may be worth, that's all I can really tell you on that. Hopefully, you can get it at a good price and be able to enjoy it and or maybe sell it down the road. So again, depends on what the price is now and what the market's bringing. But I think they're going to go up in the future. Oh, garage kept. Okay. Well, then, I'd probably buy it. I mean, depending on what the price is. Again, do your research, look up Kelley Blue Book, NADA. You can look up, I think, what's the other one? There's another one out there. I don't know if Haggerty has a valuation system on it, would go back far enough. But certain cars like that, if with only 5,000 miles, probably going to go up, I would say. Man, I can't say that. I don't know how to say the rest of that. Hello, glad you're here. And I have that guy is saying, hi, glad you're here. Wally of the North, we have a 2013 V6 cold air intake and reprogrammed the ECU. So there you go. There's another answer for you on the basic updates for that V6 Mustang. Rick Stevenson, for repair manuals, try the local library. That's a good call. Maybe possible. Excelsior, may I ask what this live is for? It's just to talk about cars. People have questions. We try to answer them. Mostly it's about older cars. We try to focus on old Mustangs, Camaros, and stuff like that. Occasionally we get a more modern question, but it's hard to answer those questions because the focus, again, is older cars. So, but I'm glad you're here and glad you asked the question. Lightning Rod, what do you think about the Fairlanes? Remember the 427s? Well, yeah, I like the 66 Fairlanes myself. I think they're a smooth, slick looking car. I do like those. Mitch, are you painting JD original color, or what color are you planning on? It is going back to the original color, which was Gulfstream Aqua. I love that color, and that's why it's called Jade. That's where, that's the color we're going with. Good looking honk. My dad had a 64. Yes, 64 and a half. Yes, they were real. Yeah, they were. Favorite Chevelle? The 66. I'll just say it. 66. The, people like this, the bulkier Chevelles, with the 68 to 70, 2 Chevelle. I would be more prone to the 66 SS. That's the one I like the most. It's just a slick looking car. They're very similar between 66 and 67, but the 66 I like the way the fender is cut back, so the headlight kind of sticks out. Whereas the 67, the fenders come around the headlights. Not quite as appealing to me. I like that cutback where the headlight sticks out. Just kind of gives it a different look. So I'd have to go with the 66 Chevelle if I was going to get one. Okay, so good looking. Mustang. Okay, yeah, you're welcome. And you're welcome. Glad you stopped in. I mean, hey, anybody can have a car question. And if we can answer, there's what we try to do. Possible reasons for battery running out. How old's the battery? What kind of accessories do you have? Is there grounding issues? You could have a lot of variables with that depending on the car. And it could be just the battery's not able to hold a charge anymore. So there's a lot of variables to that. Dave is pointing out Edmunds Value Guide. So looking up car values, that may be an option for you, Edmunds Value Guide. Because 63, older guys talking about older cars. Yeah, that's a good answer. Nick Mass, some old guys, some only slightly older guys. Shoebox Chevelle is what we call the pre-68. Well, yeah, I guess that would be accurate. I had a 65 Chevelle it was a stock car, and they're okay. I'm not a fan of that body so much. The 66 feels more sporty to me. It just feels like it's more of a hot rod. The 64, 65, they look too long and flat. They remind me of like an Impala as far as the shape, but the 66 is kind of on its own. 66 and 7. Kind of on their own, but I really like the 66. So, Mitch, what year is your favorite? What year Mustang is your favorite? Guessing it's a 68. Well, no, it's not. 69 and 70 fastback. That's probably my ideal Mustang. But I am really enjoying the 68 a lot more. As I work on it more and more, it becomes more real that it's coming together. The 68 Coupe, I am liking it more and more and more. So if I can get a 69 or 70 fastback, I would, but I'm not able to do that right now. We have Mon. I'm from Vietnam and I like your video. Awesome. So we've had quite the spread around the world today. We've had Australia, Canada, Argentina, Japan, Portugal, I believe, and Vietnam. I'm sure there's others, but that's amazing. That's amazing to have people from all over the place. Good Munder. I'm an old guy. Just got my get off my lawn voice down. Get off my lawn. True. Is there any way to get a new non-stock shift knob for Volkswagen 2014 Jetta? Because I'm having trouble finding one because it doesn't press down to shift. It releases up. That I don't know. I don't know. I know there's people out there that can 3D print stuff. So if you have an original that you can compare it to, and maybe somebody could copy that, but I don't know for sure on that. Lightning Rod, back to the 60s. The 66 4.2 wasn't the best looking car, but boy, could they run. Yeah, I actually like the 442 as well. We had several of those at my dad's junkyard. I know there was a convertible up there, and those were pretty cool. Pretty cool cars. Brian Bergman, most people unaware, a battery can have a low amp draw across a dirty top. That's true. That is very true. That, you know, the old rumor, well, I say rumor, somebody would say, don't put a battery on concrete. Well, it wasn't the concrete. It was the moisture that would come up and ground out or, you know, kill the battery. It wasn't the fact that it was sitting, you know, the concrete was only kind of part of the problem. But they would always say, put a battery on wood or something like that. So, all right, we're getting ready to run out of time. I'm 2 hours and 6 minutes. I know we had over 200 people here tonight, which is awesome. So if you haven't already, throw a thumbs up on the video by all means, please. Bad Harry's, I'm not old. I am a classic. Yes. Dave Conville, that's actually a good discussion. Fat muscle cars, 68 and up, or the smaller ones, 67 earlier, and how Mopar kept the old style through the 70s. Yeah. I mean, that is a good discussion. And we'll need to bring that up next time. Where's my, there we go. Well, we'll talk more about that probably next time because I'm running out of voice right now. Chris, what's your thought on a 66 Chevrolet Suburban? I like them. I mean, they're pretty cool trucks. Mercy, hello, what's up? Watching painting vid brought me here. 6:15 checking in Nashville, Tennessee. Well, I'm glad you're here, Mercy. That's a new name. Glad you're here. Crash Rider, I think one of the viewers was from outer space. Yeah, I think so too. Ozman. Beep up, boop up, up. Okay. A lot of people don't realize car batteries aren't designed for deep discharging, and a full discharge can reduce the battery's lifespan. There you go. Let's see. Let me go down here a little bit. Because alternators are designed to maintain batteries that are near a full state of charge, not recharge deeply discharged batteries. That is correct. And alternators just really meant to keep a car running. You know, we used to do it all the time at my dad's junkyard. We'd start a car up that we were taking up in the yard. We'd start it up, pull the battery out while it's running, you know, throw a rag around the positive terminal, drive it up to wherever it was going in the junkyard and shut it off and be done with it. So anyway, films, film list for the new people. Oh, we'll have to get about that film later. I'm really running out of voice right now. Okay. So, Merc Life. Okay. I get it. Merc Life. Gotcha. Rick Stevenson, thank you for the thumbs up. Mitch Lesko, about to finish up steering components and put in master cylinder booster. Is there anything else I should have done before dropping the engine in? Have the engine bay painted, ready to go. Brake lines, of course. You know, if you're going to put that in, make sure your brake lines are in place. You can have one on the firewall. Make sure that's taken care of. Other than that, if there's any block-off plates that need to be put in, like, you know, some of these cars may have had a manual transmission and converted to an automatic, and there's a clutch hole. You know, you may want to get a block-off plate for that. Otherwise, not much. Not much. So, good question. Okay, I'm going to call it a night. Merc Life, got it. I'm going to call it a night, but I'm glad we've had a lot of people here. You know, as I said, I've changed up the title a couple times to see what happens on the previous ones. And apparently, a lot of people here from all over the place. So we'll keep doing this Monday night, 7 o'clock, Thursday nights at 3 in the afternoon, Eastern time. So, but I'm glad everybody was here and able to answer questions. I know there's some things I can't answer. Sorry for that, but we're trying. And if I get input from other people, awesome. That always helps out. So again, thanks for watching. If you're not already, you know, using Amazon, I have Amazon listed on my YouTube channel. It's up in the banner up in the corner. If you were to look at my banner on the top of the screen, you can use Amazon there. Helps me out there. All the people that have been helping me with by being patrons on my Patreon page, I appreciate that. And of course, there are Teespring or t-shirts available on Teespring. I'm still working on the hats. I don't know what the holdup is, but we're getting there. So that's going to be it. Thanks for being here, and we'll be back on Thursday. I should have a video out tomorrow. So until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.